Welcome back, everyone. This is Fausto from Cyber Traders Podcast. Looking forward to see you. Good to see you, Juliet, everyone here. Very interesting podcast. Something a little bit different I wanted to do a little bit than I usually have the typical gurus and the traders on here. I thought this is really a good value for everyone to listen in, because I think everyone should be focused on that. There is some good opportunity to make money out there that's going to be given to you. So this was kind of brought to my attention. Someone say, "Hey, Fausto, I think you might be qualified for this." And I said, "Shoot, I mean, you know what? This could be qualified for everyone before it runs out." So I brought Eric in here that's going to talk a little bit about it, and he's going to tell us exactly what this is all about. What is this? Is it a PPP loan? What is this? This money that the government's giving that you could qualify. It's not like I said, is this a food stamp or something? He goes, no. This is part of the, what happened with COVID and everything else. So we're going to bring that up. Eric, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So tell me a little bit, Eric, what got you into, where this all started? I mean, what is this whole thing that you're talking about, this whole, application of getting this type of money from the government, this SETC, something it's called?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. We've been working the tax credit space kind of in the beginning of the pandemic, starting with the ERC program. And so I live and breathe tech. I build processes, I build platforms, my team. And so what we've done here is we've been able to actually build a process that allows self-employed individuals to claim their sick and family leave credit. A lot of you guys may have heard of this. It's also, kind of known as the self-employed tax credit. But, this kind of goes back when we were working with different companies to help under the American Rescue Plan Act to basically help alleviate some of the challenges that company owners have gone through during the pandemic. But this is it's a tax credit. This is a refund. And a lot of people think when they hear tax credit, it's like, oh, am I getting a credit on my, my future taxes? No, this is an actual check that comes from the IRS, and it's under the American Rescue Plan Act. Specifically the FFCRA, that's the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, that basically is a specially designed tax credit for self-employed individuals. So we're talking about freelancers, single member LLCs, sole proprietors, and the tax credit was designed to help recoup funds for those who struggled during the pandemic. So if they missed days of work or were unable to work because they were sick or because they had to take care of a loved one or their child was out of school, the government is actually paying back those days of work that were missed to self-employed individuals.
So when did this whole thing come to fruition? I mean, I honestly, I never heard of that. I heard of the PPP loans. I heard about the restaurant loans. People going. I mean, when did this come out? I mean, no one's talking about it. I mean, this is new. I heard it from you just a little bit a month ago.
Yeah, and you know what? We hear that all the time. We believe that this program was really overshadowed by some of those other larger programs, PPP, Employee Retention Credit. That's where the bulk of the funds were kind of designated to help some of these larger companies, or the PPP loans, which is a loan, right? When we're talking about tax credits, this is very different. But the reason we believe that it was overshadowed is because, number one, this tax credit was originally created for W-2 employers to give their employees sick paid time off. So if you were working as a W-2 with an employer and you got sick with COVID, or you had to go get a COVID test, or you had to get, getting vaccinations or taking care of a family member, your employer actually was able to pay you through government funds for those days of work that was missed. And what happened was the self-employed community kind of uproared. All the 1099 said, hey, we're self-employed, we pay taxes, how come we don't get this tax credit?
Right.
The government actually revised this credit now for self-employed individuals to recoup up to $32,220 per individual. That's the maximum credit per individual. If you file taxes jointly with a spouse, you can double that amount.
So to get something straight, so everybody understands this, is that, the companies basically got funding, because of what happened with COVID, and they were reimbursed for whatever, being shut down, whatever it is. But there was this one group of people that didn't get any of that benefit, which was the 1099 people.
That's right.
That were self-employed. So that's why, and that's why I was going to ask you about this. And we were talking about this before in the green room. I was asking you, why an accountant's telling you about it? Why is no one why you have to do it on your own? Is that what it came out? Is that why no one really knew about it?
Yeah, believe it or not, we actually work with a lot of large CPA firms that prefer to use our platform and process simply because of the fact that this is a 300-page stimulus bill. right? In order to file this tax credit, you need to be up to date on not only all of the changes that have happened, but also how to properly file and calculate this credit. And so at the end of the day, CPAs and accountants, they're typically, what do? Their expertise is in filing taxes, not necessarily tax credits. So that's why, a lot of accountants, they don't, they might not be fully up to date. They don't know how to calculate it. It becomes a burden on them to have to figure all of this out. And so for them, it's a lot of the times probably easier to just say, I don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? What if they do it wrong also? So, yeah.
So Eric, how much does it, let's kind of remind everyone this bit, how much money could they get back on this actual, this employment, this self-employment?
Tax credit. Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you guys who are listening, the formal name for this credit is the Sick and Family Leave Credit. But a lot of the marketing out there, if you Google this, a lot of people just call it the self-employed tax credit. It's a little simpler to remember. Yeah. But the maximum credit amount is up to $32,220 per individual. And the qualifications are pretty basic. If you file taxes in 2020 or 2021 and you miss days of work due to COVID, and we could talk about some of those eligibilities, it's a very broad spectrum of eligibilities, which is great, that you can file for that credit. And again, as I mentioned, if you filed your taxes jointly with a spouse, your maximum credit potential is up to $64,400 as well. So you could double that amount. We've been able to help a lot of people with this.
Who the hell doesn't want that? Or I mean, like, Jesus, it's that easy. Well, listen, by the way, just before we continue, let's remind everyone, if you have your cell phone, on the top right-hand corner, scan that QR code. Just give us your email and name. You don't have to give any phone number or anything, and we'll just bring you to a website. You'll basically see if you qualify immediately for it. How long does it take to even check? It was like 5 minutes or something like that?
You can see if you're eligible and get an estimate within 2 minutes.
Literally. 2 minutes to find out if you're eligible to get $32,000. So take your phone, scan that QR code in the right-hand corner, because you don't want to lose that opportunity. All right. Now getting back to this whole thing regarding about you got into this field, you saw an opportunity. Why do I need you? Why can't I just do it myself? I mean, where did you get into this field?
Yeah,
that's making it so easy.
That's a great question. So the way that we built this platform is actually, it's a collective of several companies. We brought in a national law firm. We brought in several partner firms that have large success and track records with filing tax credits. We brought in my company, which is a tech firm, to build a process that makes it streamlined. But overall, to answer your question simply, we built an automated, streamlined, easy to use online process that allows any self-employed individual to go online and basically see if they're eligible. Our system will connect to the IRS, will pull the necessary financial information. Our system will calculate the credit. Our system will do a bunch of stuff that just makes it easy. And furthermore, I think the most important thing also, Fausto, is to talk about the advanced funding that we have in place, right?
Right.
So,
So you have because I went in there, I was very impressed, extremely organized, right to the point, which, by the way, like I said, I see a bunch of guys scanning it right now, that QR code. So, you'll see it that when you fill out within 2 minutes, and we're going to email you once we're over. So you're not going to go there yet. And you'll see if you qualified. And he built this great, I love your portal page. I mean, it's just so right to the point, shows you exactly how to register, see if you qualify for it. Doesn't ask anything before it goes through this whole process and stuff. And I know you're going to go in a little bit of detail. I don't want to go into the, get too crazy because we don't have too much time, right. But that's part of the workshop that everyone's going to get, how to go through it. But tell me a little bit about the portal page and what's involved, and how long does this process take to get get that money? And like I know we spoke about this when I did a workshop with you. You could do it yourself, and you could wait, get that money in 9 months, and you could do it in you can get it back in 30 days or some crap like that.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've actually partnered with Community Bank and Trust. It's a bank. They're an FDIC insured bank that will actually be willing to advance the funds to our claimants in less than 30 days. Of course, not everyone qualifies for that. The advance has to be at least $3,000 or greater, but you can get your funds in as little as 30 days. And that was a huge aspect to this program because of the fact that we've raised over $2 billion to help advance these funds to the claimants so they don't have to wait for the long IRS wait times when filing for a tax credit. Typically, when you apply for a tax credit with the IRS, you can be waiting upwards of 8 months, 10 months. We've even seen up to 16 months before people see their funds. So we've automated this process. We've got a funding partner in place in order to advance those funds to the claimants and get them their money quickly.
And Eric, I know we also talked about this, so everyone just understand. I mean, here we are just talking to typical entrepreneurs, we're talking about, general contracts, stuff like that. I know you said that you've been signing up, Fortune 500 companies, people that have thousands and thousands of clients that are in it, because listen, everyone now is trying to get away from, being on W-2, but a lot of people were 1099. So yeah, I mean tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been able to partner with some Fortune 500, 1,000 companies that have come to us that we partnered with to basically use our process with all of their 1099 relationships. And guys, when we talk about 1099s, we're talking everything from Uber drivers to truck drivers to hair salons. I mean, every type of category you can think of can use our platform and process. But typically, when we partner with some of these enterprise relationships, they want to be able to help their 1099 relationships, and they want a great partner to be able to streamline that process for them. So, we've been able to help a lot of people through this process.
Now, what is the biggest misconception about the SETC? Is there anything you could say a little bit that people might not understand about it?
Sure. And I want to preface this by, you can imagine the amount of compliance that we have gone through in order to launch this type of program, to raise $2 billion from a bank to advance on these funds. You guys can imagine the underwriting and the risk assessment that went into this. So first of all, everything we do is very, very careful. I think that the biggest misconception is that everyone thinks that they qualify. If they're 1099, there are eligibilities. Like I said before, you have to have some net positive income in the years of 2020 or 2021. You have to have filed your taxes. If you didn't make anything in those years, you will not qualify for this credit. So you have to have some self-employed income on your transcripts from there. The other thing is that what I like about the program is this is a self-attestation. So when you are filing for this tax credit, you are basically claiming days that you were unable to work. And again, those reasons can include you had illness, symptoms, quarantine, COVID testing, taking care of a loved one, taking care of a child. If that child's school was closed, if they were had at-home learning and you had to stay home and work and couldn't work, those are all eligibilities. So, as far as all of those things go, claiming those days, it's a self-attestation. The IRS does not require any upfront proof or documentation to claim those days, although they could spot check and request some documentation. They might want to see a doctor's note. They might want to see a COVID test, but it's not typical. So the days that you claim for, that you miss work are a self-attestation. The other aspect to this is that you have some net positive income in those years. So the common misconception is, I file taxes, I'm a self-employed person, I'm entitled for $32,220. There's a calculation process that will balance out what you're actually eligible for, and that's what our system does.
Now, does everybody understand it? I mean, just to reiterate one more time, because as people keep logging in and out, who really does qualify again? Like, what kind of people again? You mentioned
we're talking
drivers,
sole proprietors, 1099 contractors, single member LLCs, freelancers, gig workers. I mean, we have lists of of tons of different types of occupations that come in through our platform. Real estate agents are huge. Truck drivers are huge. We have all types of contractors, plumbers. I mean, all of those are 1099 workers, typically with higher net positive income that get substantial tax credits here.
And by the way, once again, if you want to know if you qualify, just take your phone, scan the QR code, 2 minutes. You just basically you put it in there, and you'll know right away if you really qualify for it.
Awesome. Very simple. Okay, if I share my screen real quick, I think it'll help.
Why don't you do that? So yeah, I know you said you had a nice little PowerPoint. We'll show a little bit more, explain it more in detail. Other than talking about it, that would probably, and we could ask some questions.
Yeah, I just think it would be good to visualize, what we're talking about here, the sick and family leave credit, and again, just kind of talking about what we mentioned before. These are the categories of workers that would qualify for this type of credit. Just giving you guys some visuals, the reasons to qualify for this credit: illness, symptoms, quarantine, testing. All of these are eligibilities for this program, but that's why the platform that we built is going to ask the right questions and gather the right information to determine exactly to the cent what you're eligible for. And we will file that tax credit for you. It doesn't just calculate the credit. We generate the IRS documents. We facilitate that. We have it approved by our CPA law firm. We get you in advance on your tax credit. This is a full end-to-end process, starting with eligibility to calculating an estimate, to gathering all the necessary information, to generating the necessary documents the IRS needs. and then getting those approved with a law firm. Our law firm actually signs off on every single claim and is backing those claims. That's the liability here, is that we are so confident in our process that we built that we have a law firm signing off on this, and we're filing that on behalf of the claimant. We amend all the documents that are needed to be amended. It is a true end-to-end process.
Now, now regarding about what you're about to show, could you show me a little bit more of that PowerPoint? I know you said you had a PowerPoint a little bit more.
Yeah, let's bring that up as well.
Bring that up, and let's look at that a little bit so people could visualize.
Yeah, I want to kind of just go through this a little bit. So here we talk about the eligibilities. Again, this is under the American Rescue Plan Act, specifically the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. This is the actual program. If anyone's on here and says, is this a real thing, guys, I strongly encourage you, go Google it. You'll see it right on the IRS's website. It's a very clear program. Yes, one of the most amazing things that I think that we've done also is that we've created a direct integration with the IRS, meaning that we are able to pull the necessary information to calculate this credit without asking these claimants, or applicants to upload their tax returns or provide us this information. We are directly connected in, so we're able to pull all that information in order to calculate this credit. Let's take a look a little bit at the process itself. As we saw before, typically someone would be introduced to a landing page that looks like this. We have a great 2-minute video that explains this whole program from end to end.
Love that video. I watched it.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's excellent. But guys, this is the application process. It's an 8-step process. We bring them through a pre-qualification step. We ask them very simple questions. Were you self-employed? Did you file taxes? Did you miss days of work because of COVID? And once we pre-qualify them, we're able to bring them into step 2, which is a very quick estimate tool. So we ask them very simple questions. How many days were you unable to work due to COVID? How many days were you unable to work due to caring for your child for COVID-related reasons? And what was your average annual net income in either years of 2020 or 2021? And by answering these 3 simple questions, and based on these answers that you're looking at on the page right here, our system would generate an eligible tax credit, right? Or an estimated tax credit based on what you told us.
Eric, I got to just ask you a question really quick. Mel was asking. You did? Oh, you answered it. Okay. Oh,
wonderful. Yeah. So you guys can see it's a step-by-step process. I don't necessarily need to go through all the steps here, but I'll just kind of summarize. We gather all the information in step 3 in the questionnaire, asking them what days they were unable to work because they were personally impacted by COVID, what days they were unable to work because they were caring for a family member, caring for a child. We get all that information. We collect all of that. And then what we do is we have them log in step 4 to verify their identity with a service called ID.me. ID.me is the official IRS's login. This is where we're able to verify the person's identity and pull their tax and account transcripts. By logging into this service, by the way, 60% of people who come to our process already have an ID.me account. And if they don't, they can go create one in 2 minutes and then come back and log into our system. And from there, they literally would see a screen. We would pull their transcripts, calculate their credit, and output their final tax credit calculation. What we saw in step 2, which was a general estimate, was just based on what the user told us. Hey, they could have told us anything, right? They could have said, hey, I made $100,000, in net positive income in these years. But when we pull their transcripts, we're actually able to calculate their actual credit. We also take into account any back taxes that are owed, right? Those will be deducted from the tax credit amount, all right? And then from there, they can choose one of our funding options. They can receive the advanced funding, or they can do the standard funding where they wait for their check from the IRS. We can't force people to take their money faster. If they don't, the fees are the same across both. But, if should they want to kind of wait for the IRS, they have that option as well. So that's kind of most of the process. From there, we verify their bank account. We want to make sure we know where to send the funds to. So we verify their account. The last step is we basically generate all their documents. They have to download, print, sign, and mail those. So that goes to our CPA firm. Unfortunately, guys, with the IRS, I know it's old school, but they require wet signatures on these documents, and we want to make sure that we're getting people their credits. So we provide them with a prepaid shipping label. All they do is they download, they sign them, they drop it in the mail. That goes into a final review process. Once it's signed off on and we mail their claim to the IRS, we can trigger the funds for the advance to their bank account. And that's really the full process, guys. I know I skimmed through it, but it's a pretty simple process. We have thousands and thousands of people going through this every single day. and we've been able to help so many people. It's very gratifying.
Yeah, Eric, I was asking this when when you first showed me this. I brought this up and I said, like, okay, well, what do I need you for? I could do it myself, right? And I kind of and if anyone here is an entrepreneur figures this out, it's like, what do you need an accountant for? You could do your own taxes, right? Like, well, just go ahead, save the money. So the reason why Eric is in this business and his company's in this business, to let everybody know, is like, listen, is there a fee? Yeah, there's a little fee to it, but you know what? For what it costs you you pay your accountant. If you don't believe in accountants, you know what? Do it yourself. And at the end of the day, you'll end up screwing it up, or you might miss the date, because that was another big thing that what brings the urgency.
Yes,
this is, if you don't have this done, I mean, this thing's going to expire when?
The deadline to file for this tax credit is April 18th, 2025. So coming up here, I think about 45 days or so, something like that.
Yeah. So like, listen, you got no time. Take that damn phone, get that QR code, because you know what? You want to do your research. You don't have to do anything now, but let's just get you on that list so we can get you that video and see if you qualify. Do your homework, but you want to call your accountant, wait for them to get on the phone. You want to go do it on your own, you can. And one thing I really liked your whole process, and this is why, you said, a lot of companies, especially Fortune 500 companies, even accounts are coming to you, is because how long it is if I had to do it myself. What's involved for me to do it myself, Eric?
I mean, I'll be honest. I personally wouldn't even be able to do it for myself. You know what I mean? It's you have to dig into your transcripts, or your tax returns. You have to do a bunch of calculations. The IRS provides all of that. It's all public information. But I would still have the questions of if I'm doing it right. You know what I mean? It would take you days, if anything, and that means, like, even if an accountant was doing this, if they were not fully up to date on the stimulus bill, the regulations, the requirements, the instructions for this, I think it would just it's a nuisance for them. I'll share one quick thing with you. Is we partnered with a firm. They're an advisory firm for 400 CPA companies. And we did a webinar with them. We onboarded all of them. And now we have 400 CPA firms that are referring their claimants to our process. They've had a lot of good questions, some of them tough questions about how we do things. And they have been one of our main referral partner sources in this process. So, it just goes to say these accountants highly prefer to partner with a company that has a process for this and just refer out.
It just makes it easier. I mean, listen, I looked at your portal page, and everyone's going to see this. You really, it's a big project. I mean, I have my own portal when we teach our students and stuff like that, and what's involved. You have it so extremely organized. And yeah, like sometimes for an accountant, they're like, I can't deal with this. I could rather give it to you, Eric, and let your company do with it and go from there. And I think, and I think everyone has to also understand too, is like, there are companies where, like, you do your taxes, right? You can get this refund. How fast could you get this refund, or how long could it take you if you do a different route?
I'm sorry, say it again. How fast?
How quick could you get this money when if someone goes through you? How fast could this be? Can I get my refund?
It could be as early as 3 weeks from the time you start.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yep.
You get that money in 3 weeks. 32,000 in 3 weeks.
Yes, up to 32,000. Yes.
Up to 32,000. Okay. Yes. And if I did it my own, how long would it take?
Well, first of all, you wouldn't have the advanced funding in place, right? So you would wait. Right. You would be at the mercy of the IRS, which typically we've seen, 6 to 8 month wait times.
Right. So there you go. I mean, so that's the benefit from it, that you get from it. And like I said, it's the only way to find out. Scan that QR code, get that, watch that video, take that 2-minute clip.
Yep.
What you got to do, or just go to, actually, Patrick, yes, it's going to go to the Cybertrade University website, because a lot of you are students of ours and are traders of ours. Once we get that, we'll forward you that link where to get it. So we're going to take care of that for you. Now, Eric, what are is there anything that you could mention that some people might not qualify? I mean, I know we did talk about, like, maybe someone owes money in taxes, that they might have to be taken out or something like that.
Yeah, I'll share with you the most common disqualifier. So obviously, if you already filed for this credit, you can't get it twice. That's a big one. Okay. If you didn't file taxes in 2020 or 2021, we cannot help you, unfortunately. If your net positive income, is too low in those years as well, you're not going to be eligible for this credit. And let me explain the way it works. I think it's really important. What the government, guys, is basically doing is they are looking at what you normally would have made on any given day in either year, 2020 or 2021. They allow us to use either year. And they're saying, okay, Eric, based on your taxes, we see that you made $395 per day, let's just say. And so for every day of work that I missed, the IRS or the government, this program is basically supplementing the missed days of work that I claim. So that's how this credit actually works. Some other disqualifiers that, yes, if you owe the IRS significant back taxes, those will come out of they'll be deducted from your credit.
Okay.
Those
That's
are
not
really,
a bad thing if you owe money. I mean, at
no,
least
and go towards your back taxes. We have people that we completely, they owe a lot in back taxes. We help them pay it back, and that's part of this process as well.
Now, is this let's just kind of reiterate this. Is this a refund, a deduction, or a cashback?
So this is technically, it's a tax credit, but you can think of it as a refund. Think of it as a refund. Okay. This comes, again, if you were to file this directly with the IRS, they will be sending you a check, and that check, it's cash, right? You can go and deposit it. It's not even though it's a tax credit, a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be a credit towards my future taxes. But no, this is a tax credit refund in the form of a check from the IRS, or when using a company like ours, we do a direct bank deposit with an advance, right? So we're advancing the funds to our claimants directly to their bank account.
Now, what happens if someone already filed their taxes without claiming the STC? Can they still go back and then amend it?
Yeah, we do the amendments for them. That's part of our process too. We handle all of that. So we actually provide, I'll share with you, we provide an amended 1040. It's called a 1040X form. We also file a 7202 form, which is the actual tax credit form, along with various other IRS forms and schedules. So we basically, we look at everything that they've done. We regenerate. We have our preparers, our law firm, signing off on that as well, and taking the liability that everything is calculated, accurately and compliantly, and we submit that to the IRS. So there's no further amendments or anything that anyone needs to do or go to their accountant after receiving their tax credit.
And the accountants know about this stuff, right? If I go to my accountant, they're aware of it.
Yeah. I'm sure many of them are aware of it. They probably just, oh yeah, I heard of the sick and family leave credit. But many people are still misinformed that, hey, oh yeah, the sick and family leave credit was for W-2 employers. A lot of people don't even know that the stimulus bill was revised to now include self-employed individuals, 1099 contractors, to apply for this credit. So we hear all types of stuff. I think this is really a matter of being up to date on what the government is offering. There's a lot of documentation out there. And we were, part of this process, along with building the tech, bringing in the right partners, the funding companies and everything like that. We retain a lot of tax attorneys and compliance officers in order to advise us on this process, including former staff at the IRS. We brought in the former chief of staff at the IRS to help us with our compliance, to help us with our process, ensure that we're doing everything compliantly. So, there was a lot of, this was an 8-month project to get this off the ground.
And just to remind everyone here, time's running out. I think you got less than, 45 days to get this thing done. Once April 15 comes, right, it's over. They're pulling the plug on it. It's over. You can't get it. So, like I said, you have a very little window.
Yeah, I believe this is the last of the American Rescue Plan tax credits for COVID-related relief. Like we said before, we had PPP. And by the way, if you receive PPP, you are still eligible for this program. That doesn't affect you. That's a loan. PPP was a loan and required to be paid back. Some of that was forgiven. The employee retention credit, also very large tax credit program, was strictly for W-2 employers. Completely overshadowed many other tax credit programs. So I believe this is the last one. And yeah, April 18th is the deadline to file, guys. And
by the way, and for everyone here, don't just look at yourself. I mean, if you know somebody that was 1099, we all know somebody. There's hundreds of millions of people in this world. There's a very small window of opportunity. Please go out there, share that QR code, share that link of Cybertrade University, let them know to see if they qualify. What's the worst thing that could happen? They don't. But you know what? I know a lot of people here have friends that, or maybe even know a company says, hey, you know what? Did you hear about this tax credit, the last COVID relief that they're giving out, the self-employed tax credit? Let them know about it. You know what I mean? Like, tell your friends, tweet it, text it, whatever it is, whatever you need to do, post it on your Instagram, whatever it is. But I just feel like there's this money that's left over. Everyone should be able to get, why not go out there and give it? Go out there and share it, everybody.
Just looking at this list, sorry to interrupt you, Fausto, but just looking at this list, I mean, guys, consultants, real estate agents, plumbers, graphic designers, fitness trainers. I'm sure everyone knows people in these
Dog walkers.
right?
Dog walkers.
Dog,
Minors.
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of people out there, guys. There's an estimated 50 million eligible individuals who can apply for this tax credit. Some people get a couple thousand, some people get more. We see them all over the board. The average tax credit that we see is around $12,000. And again, for occupations like real estate agents, truck drivers, higher net positive income earning individuals, we see higher credits, 22,000, 25,000, 28,000. So it's all over the board, but there's so many people that are qualified for this program and have no idea about it.
Now, it's only for people in the U.S., am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You have to file taxes, yes, with the United States government.
By the way, if anyone has any questions they want to ask Eric, it's probably the best time to do it. He's the CEO of the company, so we're very fortunate and lucky to have him here. So if there's something better to ask him, now's a good time to ask it.
In the chat here.
Yeah. Eric, now, if someone ever had like an issue, because some people are physically challenged with computers, okay? Is there someone they could speak to if they had to? Is there help?
Yeah, I really love talking about this. So, of course, people are going to have all types of challenges through the process, questions, concerns. Our support center, guys, in the portal, we have a built-in support center. We have live chat. We have a ticket system. We have outbound phone support. We have inbound phone support. Our average ticket response time is 9 minutes at this time. We have thousands of tickets coming in every single day. So we really emphasize the support side of things, especially as the volume started coming in, to be able to help these people along. One of the biggest things too is we have our outbound support. When we see people, we make about 10,000 calls a day. When we see people that are stuck in a certain step for a period of about between 36 to 72 hours and haven't proceeded, we actually reach out to them and say, hey, do you have any questions, concerns? Can we help you? We're actually reaching out and helping people along. So we've done an excellent job, our support teams and customer service agents, on helping these people. They're highly trained, and we've had a really great feedback from it.
No, listen, you built an unbelievable platform to help these people get this, because like I said, it's a shame that everyone here just lets that go and don't think twice. What's the worst thing that could happen? You don't qualify? What's the worst thing that can happen? So like I said, just get that damn phone and scan that QR code, because we're almost done here. And you know what? What's the worst? See if you qualify.
Take 5 minutes of your time. Exactly.
5 minutes. You said even 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Just post it in there. Get in there.
Right. A lot of people, they want to know all the eligible. Well, do I qualify? Do I? I say, guys, take 2 minutes. Go. It'll tell you. That's it.
Yeah, that's all. Damn, if you're a dog walker, I didn't even know that. I thought you see. You saw that list. And by the way, you're going to see that list when you register. You'll be able to see everyone that qualifies. And somehow, some way, everyone here, I think, got 1099 somehow. You know what I mean? Like, hell, even if you got $500, it's $500 you don't have. You know what I mean? That's why not?
Exactly.
Now, Eric, is there any last minute things you probably want to leave off before we let you go? And close up here that you might.
No, I strongly recommend everyone takes 5 minutes of their time, see if you qualify. Think about your family, think about your neighbors, think about your people you work with. Introduce them to this program. Listen, one of the most gratifying things that we've been able, to feel is that $5,000 in someone's pocket can really change your life. Believe it or not, simple. It's a simple process, and you could be the one to connect them. You could be the one to have introduced this to them. And every dollar counts. A lot of these people truly struggle during this time, especially, like real estate agents up in New York. They couldn't work at all. You know what I mean? All types of stuff. So just go out there, share it, and I'm sure that someone you shared it with will qualify. You'll be able to see that and put a smile on their face and get a big thank you out of it.
Exactly. And that's the best thing. It's basically you're passing it down. They're going to be very thankful for what you've done. And you could change someone's life for the better, because it was, it really was a very disturbing, difficult time. If everybody remembers COVID, I can't believe it's already been 4 years now. When you really think about it, but that was some scary times. I remember walking in Manhattan, and it was like zombie land. There was just nobody around. It was the scariest thing. So imagine everyone being out of work at that time. So, listen, the government really wanted to help everyone out with this rescue plan. Get in there before it's over in 45 days. All right.
Excellent.
So once again, guys, one last shot. Take your phone, scan the QR code, or you can go to ctu.co/free. It is a Cyber Training University website. once we see you register, we're going to forward you that link. Chris has a question here. Thanks for the info. Looking forward to checking it out, Christopher. Well, on YouTube. Well, like I said, you'll find out really shortly. It won't take anyone that much longer other than just filling out that questionnaire. All right. Eric, once again, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it in your busy schedule. And hopefully you change some people's lives for the better and give them this money that they will deserve. You're doing a really good service.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on, and appreciate everyone joining today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.